For real, I think the odds are growing a little bit for some snow across the south. Now, we're pretty far out as we look into next week, but in this video, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how this could happen, how it could come together, and where the chances are growing the best. One thing's for sure, it's going to be cold, and the new 8 to 10 day time frame is going to be cold. And this is the actual 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from NOAA, the 18th through the 22nd, and pretty much the entire country looking at below normal temperatures. And these temperatures could be really cold too, and extending on as we keep this northwest flow going, pushing cold air in through the day 8 to 14 time frame. So really cold air setting up across the country. Now, what are the odds of seeing snow across the south, right? So I show you this, all right? You take this with a grain of salt because look, the ensemble guidance, which uses 51 different members and averages, is still only putting about a 20 to 30% chance of snow here into Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. This kind of reminds me a little bit almost of a week ago as we were looking out on the storm that just hit this area. Now, I think this is too far south. I really do. But the odds are starting to increase somewhat on the ensembles, the European ensembles anyway, and starting to really go up here into the Northeast. I mean, if you look at southern New England into New Jersey, this would be your odds of seeing snow through next Tuesday. And look, beyond this, they increase too because there's a lot of different solutions out there. The ensembles really flatten things out. It's just something to look at, something to keep in mind here as I put this together. I think the chance of snow is growing next week. Here's why. A lot of cold air, not just moving south, but it's going to move really far to the south. Let's talk about the short term. We've got these snow showers around the Great Lakes, which will be heavy at times, by the way. 1 to 2 feet of snow possible downwind of Lake Ontario, also Lake Erie. We're going to get some snow downwind of that too that could exceed a foot, and then up here into Michigan as well. Some snow showers down in the mountains of West Virginia on Tuesday, and then we set up for a really boring weather day there on Wednesday. I've been talking about that, but a bit of a break. Some of you really liking this across the Central Plains all the way to the east. However, outside of the lake effect snow will be dry. Some snow showers, though, still lingering at least for the Northeast through Tuesday night into Wednesday, even through the day Wednesday. Now, here comes our real cold air. It starts to really push into the country as we head into Thursday and Friday. It's going to take a little while to do so, but it'll start to be felt first across the northern plains. Temperatures across the Central Plains are going to go up. And now we're going to talk about that cold. And ahead of this, we start to bring up some moisture from the south. So rain out ahead of this, warmer temperatures, and then you've got to watch wherever this boundary goes. Will something form up along it? Well, the afternoon European tries to do this weird thing where it develops low pressure along the front. To me, this looks a little odd. I don't know that I believe this yet. I would probably be more apt to believe a storm forming back here across the Four Corners states than I would here into the Northeast. But you know, this is next Saturday and Sunday. We're getting closer and closer. Let's see how this gets refined by Tuesday and Wednesday, and I think we'll have a better idea. But the chance of a snowstorm here into the Northeast, and then look, on the bottom end of this trough, back across Texas and New Mexico, will something develop here? It's possible, especially as energy dives in from the northwest. You've got a strong area of baroclinicity. That's that temperature difference. And if it's really far to the south, this is how you get snow into South Texas. This is how you get snow into the deep, deep south. Now, if you remember it was over a week ago, we were looking at the previous snowstorm in the south about 7 days out, and it was showing things just like this. So I feel like this is all going to trend north. I think it's way too far to the south, and I think it's a bit of fantasy here to look at it and go, this is exactly what it's going to be. It's one of the reasons I go back to the ensemble guidance and go, well, what are the odds of that happening? About 10 to 20% chance here if you look at the ensemble guidance. You don't want to look at these deterministic runs and go, that's exactly how it's going to be. So if you enjoy this kind of content, it's what I do here on the channel. Welcome, I'm Travis. I used to be a meteorologist many years ago on television. I got out of that business. But one thing that I found myself doing over the years is just tracking things like these upper level charts, the snow, the cold. And if you enjoy that kind of content, plus tracking severe weather, hurricanes, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I'm going to take you further in time here. I want to show you kind of what's behind this cold. Then we'll get into some regional outlooks as we head toward the end of the week. This is going to be some warm air moving here into the Central Plains, but we tap into the polar vortex as we head into Saturday and Sunday, and that drops pretty far to the south. Now you got a chunk of that polar vortex dropping toward the Great Lakes. This is cold. This pushes that chill all the way down into the deep south, and one would argue we may get cold here in the southwest. That might put some snow here into the Four Corners states. Still, I don't know that we're exactly 100% on that yet, but you're starting to see signs of it. And look at these temperature anomalies at the 850 millibar level. This is a good way to look at air that doesn't get affected by the warming of the days and the cooling of the nights. It's pretty consistent. And these are departures from average. That's close to 20 degrees below average Celsius. So very cold air moving down into the lower 48, heading into next week. And look how far south it could move. Again, setting the stage for some kind of southern storm, I believe, anyway. Here's a closer look as we head through the week. I'm going to back you up. As we head through Monday, we've got the snow showers in and around the Great Lakes, some rain showers here across Florida, high pressure nudging in from the west, here across Kentucky, Tennessee, also across the deep south. Snow showers still going up here around the Great Lakes as our winds are really almost lined up due west. So watch out here just south of Buffalo and also up toward the Tug Hill Plateau. Here into Michigan, we're going to get some snow, southern Ontario, and even up here into the UP of Michigan. I think we'll see some, although the trajectories turn a little more northwesterly as we head toward Wednesday and Thursday. That puts more snow into the UP, and it also curves the snow a little bit closer to northeast Ohio and then down into other parts of New York, giving the Tug Hill a bit of a break maybe. High pressure builds in. We do dry out. It is going to be cold underneath this high pressure. This air originates from the Arctic, so expect temperatures to be very chilly, single digits, maybe even below zero as we head into Wednesday morning. And then as we head toward the weekend, well, this is where things get interesting, right? Your really cold air starts to move in. Your front swings through, and now you've got to wonder what develops along this front. Again, the Europeans trying to give us a snowstorm. Let's wait and see on that. In the short term, your snowfall, again, downwind of the lakes, 1 to 2 feet in some areas, close to a foot here in the parts of Michigan and into the UP and up here into Ontario too. Going toward the temperatures, let's look at this a little bit. We're on the way up, at least a little bit warmer here across the south. Single digits and teens up here around Wisconsin, some cold air behind our system that's moving through now. It's no wonder we're seeing a tremendous amount of lake effect snow with this cold air blowing across the lakes that starts off near or below zero, picking up that moisture off of those relatively warmer waters. Now, as we move toward Wednesday, we start to push that cold air down here into the Ohio Valley. We've got some snow on the ground, and with high pressure building in, especially under clear skies, it would not shock me if we see below zero temperatures here somewhere in this area heading into early Wednesday morning. And it could be, 5, 10 below in some spots, especially in colder areas. So this could extend not just here, but maybe even back into parts of Missouri, southern parts of Iowa. It could actually be colder here than up into Michigan, where you're being influenced a little bit by the Great Lakes here, keeping you slightly warmer relative to, I guess, what it would be normally. As we head through the rest of the week, we stay cold here in the Northeast. That cold really kind of targets this part of the country. Warmer temperatures start to be felt back here across parts of the lower Mississippi Valley, Arkansas, down into Louisiana. We're back into the 50s and maybe even some 60s closer to the Gulf Coast. But heading into Friday, that warm air tries to advance a little bit further to the north. There comes the real cold, though, as we head into the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, we'll start to push that cold air to the south. And again, the models sometimes overdo things this far out, but it gives you an idea that things are going to be changing next week. And if we do warm up, it's not going to last. We're mostly dry here across the Central Plains states, also back across the Rockies as we head through most of the week. This is taking you all the way through Thursday, now Friday. And then some return moisture starts to be felt toward the end of the week, bringing some rain here, again, up the Mississippi Valley, and then some snow here across the Rockies. Cold Arctic air slams down the east face of the Rockies. That could push some snow here into parts of Colorado, even New Mexico, and then this gets pushed east. And now we're wondering what's going to happen. Does some kind of energy move south and then develop an area of low pressure here across West Texas and then skirt along the Gulf Coast? To be determined on that one. Snowfall in the short range, or at least through next weekend. You can see we've got some snow falling through this week, and then there's some of that lighter snow as our Arctic front moves through here along the east side of the Rockies with a couple of inches of snow, I think, here. And your temperatures definitely on the way down. Monday, we're cold. Look up across the Dakotas, below zero, and that cold air continues to push south. Not quite into Texas this time. It's really going mostly to the east. In fact, we'll see temperatures start to rebound into places like Kansas, Oklahoma. Maybe some of that snow finally starts to melt, and that will continue as we head through Friday. Now the cold moves south as we head into the weekend. Boom, look at that front moving through Texas. As we move into Saturday, you're going to go from 60 to below freezing in Dallas through the weekend, and it's going to be really cold across the northern plains. I don't know, 20 to 30 below. That looks a little extreme on the models, but you get the idea. This is some really cold air. It could be the coldest of the season, and if that's the case, cold air wants to push, and it wants to push really far to the south into Texas. Let's wait and see if that actually comes to pass. We've still got several days to refine this. And again, I think that would get your storm going along the Gulf Coast if you get it pushed that far south. quiet across the west. Unfortunately, you've got high pressure here. You've got the offshore winds here into California, keeping that fire threat through the week here. So not a good thing. One thing we're not seeing this year compared to last year, if you remember, we just had so many storms just dropping snow into the Sierras. Not this year. It put the big snow into the Wasatch and the Colorado. We're just not seeing that right now. We do have some snow moving south heading into Saturday and Sunday. We talked about that. That could put some snow into Utah, maybe northern Arizona, into New Mexico. But overall, West Coast staying dry. That's all I got. See you next time.